Welcome to a brand new episode of Local Focus. So glad to have you in. We are in the midst of basketball season, of course, and we wanted to switch our attention back to the girls' side. Well, you know, when you gotta have the best, right? That's what we do here on the program. So we went to El Dorado, and Bella Hines is our guest. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Our friend Cameron Brown at Prep Hoops voted or said going into the season, Player of the Year, right? Preseason. That's got to be a big thing going into your second year of high school to kind of see like, okay, everyone's picked for Player of the Year. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, I feel like I was doubted a lot last year, and I feel like everyone thought it was just going to be like a one-time thing with me, but I feel like I just keep proving everybody wrong, and that's what I want to continue to do going into next season and continuing this season.
So let's go way back, though. When did basketball start for you?
I would say it started like 6th grade was when I really started taking it serious, because I used to play baseball, and I took that really serious until like 5th grade, and then once I started playing basketball, I just knew I loved it, and I wanted to only play that sport.
So baseball was the first love, and were you pretty good?
I was pretty good. I made All-Stars every year when I was playing baseball, so I was pretty good at it.
All right, okay. And then, so who was kind of who put the ball in your hand first? When did the transition to basketball happen?
I would say with my dad and my brother. My dad played when he was younger, and then my brother really got me into it with him playing a little bit. So I just wanted to be kind of like my bigger brother and play with.
Okay, and then was it like right away, like a love at first sight thing with basketball?
At first, I wasn't that good, so I was kind of iffy about it. But then after I started practicing more and really working on it, I started to love it, and I knew it was my love.
And when did you know, like, okay, I'm really good at this?
I would probably say like midway through my 7th grade year, I was like, I'm actually good at this. Like, I'm gonna stick with it. Like, I know I could be great at this.
That's pretty young, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and not only is it young, but it's also, considering that you just picked it up, that's like right away.
Yeah.
When did you start beating your brother and close family members and friends?
Probably like last year.
Okay.
He's huge.
Was that a big thing? Like.
Yeah, it's always a big deal when we go back and forth at each other, but we make each other better, so.
Pretty competitive?
Mm-hmm. Super competitive. Always getting in fights.
So what's the athletic background of the family? Give me that background.
So my mom was a softball player and a volleyball player, and then my dad was a baseball player and a basketball player and a football player. So
wow.
We have a really athletic family. We all got great genes.
So all here from New Mexico?
Mm-hmm.
So where give me the schools represented in that household.
My dad went to Del Norte and my mom went to El Dorado.
This is a Del Norte house. Director Josh Brown, a Del Norte Knight, and myself, a proud Del Norte Knight. Okay. And he played what at Del Norte?
He played all 3 sports, football, basketball, and baseball.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to hear. And then your mom was an Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow that's...
Just got passed on, I guess.
She won.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to talk to Dad about that, I guess. He didn't do enough convincing, right, to steer you the other way in the heights. Okay. All right. So athletically, obviously that's good DNA. That's good genes, right? And so, but the mental side of things, so talking about how you can lean on them because they have some of those experiences.
I feel like I lean on my dad more than my mom just because it's a little bit more relatable. Like with the hecklers and stuff, he's really good at his sports too. So I feel like I lean on my dad the most just because he's been through that and he helps me a lot just get through everything, especially with like the fans and stuff when I have to have hard games or even if I have good games, he's always there for a shoulder to cry on.
So, and like, okay, since you brought it up, I mean, that's real, right? Like that happens. And I've seen it in New Mexico, and it's an ugly thing, but there's something about, you know, I remember Amaya Brown going through it. I remember certainly J.B. White going through it. And I remember even Amaya Rivas at West Mesa. The better you are, the more kind of chirping comes out of the stands. But you're telling that's real, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like at the same time, though, like people don't really understand how hard it is until you have to actually deal with it. But I just tune out the crowd because they don't have anything to do with how I'm playing or like what they have to say doesn't really matter to me. So I just tune them out and play my game.
But you're using that as a motivator, obviously, right?
Yes.
But you also said that your brother provides a shoulder to cry on. So that gives the other side of it is it's incredibly inappropriate and it can be hurtful because you're a young person. Talk about that.
I feel like at the same time, like it might be hurtful and stuff because they're attacking a kid as like adults. But at the same time, I don't really let it get to me because I know like the stuff I've accomplished and stuff I've like done.
Right.
That what they say doesn't affect anything that I've accomplished. So what they say doesn't really matter.
And you're being incredibly vulnerable and open right now, and I certainly appreciate that. But at the heart of it, it really is a 40, 50, or 60-year-old person making a 16-year-old?
Yeah.
A 16-year-old try to feel less about themselves or try to put them down. I mean, like, that at its nature is disgusting and sick, right? And so, yeah, I mean, you're saying that it uses as a motivator. You're saying you have all these accomplishments, but it is, when you peel all that away, it's really ugly.
Yeah, there are times in the I don't let anyone see it, but there are times in the locker room I go in and like just have my little like moments, but I won't let anyone see that they've gotten to me.
Right. And so, and how does your brother help with that?
He just is there for me. We just talk about it. Lets me tell it. Like even with my dad and my mom, we'll all sit down at the table and we'll just talk about like what they say and like whether it hurt or not. I mean, like everything some people say does hurt, but like I won't let them get to me.
And why is that a thing, you think?
I just feel like people are jealous. Like they get like, because their daughter's not as good as me, or like people just are jealous of what I've accomplished. So I feel like the only way to like bring me down is like to talk about me or like to say stuff to me while I'm playing, but I don't worry about it too much.
Right. Like I couldn't be as tactful as you are if I was a kid. Like, do you ever like get the urge on the court to be like, "Hey bro, I'm 16."
All the time. It's just like I don't understand why you're so mature and you have to come at me. Like you're in the stands and you come to watch me play, but I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me sometimes.
Right. All right, I want to take a break. I want to get into some hoop stuff some more when we get back with Bella Hines.
Nelson, he's got 3 fouls, so he doesn't really want to be getting the ball.
The dagger. That's
Gomez!
Inside.
Hostile gives it up. Shot is up. Oh! Ball goes inside to Duke, guarded by Trujillo. Eli with the tip and the finish. Schermerhorn on the drive. Yes, strong fit.
She's gonna got numbers.
1 second. She slips it in just a. Still some time. Montoya, plenty of room. Yes. Wide open long ball for Jason Montoya. Gets the screen, ball fake, but rejected. Oh, rejects it. Quickly, or if they hold for the final. Wyckoff, yes, count the basket. A chance at a three-point play for Wyckoff, and a free throw is coming up.
Catch and shoot.
E. Hill, give it to the hot hand. Why not?
We're happy for the boys, and oh boy. I guess they knew about it.
One more.
All right, we're back with El Dorado Eagle, and I guess could have been a Del Norte night. Oh, what could have been Bella Hines. Now that I learned that news, that's a little depressing. Anyway, 27. Well, your points per game is second in the nation. Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, you did.
All right, so the second leading scorer in the nation, according to Max Preps, playing right here in our backyard at El Dorado as just a sophomore. So talk about freshman year you're going into El Dorado. What was that like? I mean, the basketball side, the school side, everything.
I was nervous freshman year because I knew I was good, but I didn't know I was like good enough to be where I was at freshman year. But I knew if I kept working academically and basketball-wise, I'd be just fine, and turns out I was. So. Was
there a freshman moment like where you're like, oh, or did that really happen? Or?
I'd say my freshman moment was against La Cueva. They held me to 4 points, but the game after that, I think I scored like 28 against them. So it was like an awe moment for me, and then I was right back to normal Bella.
Right. So, and those were pretty good defensive teams that you played that year. So, what's that? Well, since you brought it up, what's that rivalry like? The La Cueva rivalry? That seems to be that. At least it was. that El Dorado La Cueva. I don't know if it's still like that, but is that on the girls' side as well?
Yeah, it's definitely still on the girls' side. We always want to beat La Cueva. They've beaten us a few times in a row, but this is definitely going to change this season.
What's different about when you play them?
I feel like we just have more drive because they're our rival and they've beaten us so many times. I feel like it's just like a different type of like mentality for us to go out there and just give it all we got and beat them.
You did talk about they have numbers on you a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. So how tough is that? I mean, you guys are losing right now. You know, it's how tough is it to process the individual success and the lack of team success at the moment, and how do you turn that around?
I feel like as a team, we're kind of a little bit off with chemistry and stuff, but our team's still young, so I feel like if we just keep working at it, we'll be just fine. And I don't like to focus on too much of my individual success when my team's not doing as well as we should be. So I like to push my team and not talk about so much what like I'm doing individually around my teammates. And
that's got to be a tough district to kind of rebuild or try to find your footing, right? Because that traditionally on the girls' side, that is a incredibly strong district. With West Mesa has been good in the past, obviously Sandia, La Cueva, then you know PV was excellent with Lene there. Farmington was in that district, so that's a tough district to kind of get right in, isn't it? Talk about that.
Yeah, well, I definitely feel like our teams that we're gonna like have the most struggle with is Sandia and Farmington, and I feel like honestly, like we won't struggle that much with La Cueva after our last game against them. I feel like we got them this year for sure. Oh,
bulletin board. All right, I like that. I like someone that's got the confidence to put bulletin board material out there. Okay, we talked about your freshman year. Was there a highlight that stands out of that freshman year?
My game against Pedro Vista.
Tell us about that.
I think I had like 25 points in the first half, and then I came out and I finished with 37, and that was a really big team win for us. So that put us in a great spot for state when we won that game.
And forgive me if I'm wrong, but didn't the entire district make it that year, or all but one, right?
I think it was all but one.
Right. I mean, so that speaks to the strength of that, right? Your freshman year, I mean, what did you decide? I mean, as an individual and as a team, what are the goals leaving that freshman year heading into this year?
I think my goal definitely, like one of my biggest goals this year is to win Gatorade Player of the Year, and then just to push my team to go farther than we did last year in state, because we got knocked out the first round, and I'm making it a goal this year that we go at least second round or push it even further.
The work that goes into that, like we have sources close to the ground say that you're the ultimate gym rat. Right? So tell me about that, like hours in the gym, how many shots are going up. I mean, I've seen you around, obviously, the ABC facility during that whole time when we were there for that preseason thing. And so I've seen you around there. But talk about that, the hours you put in.
So there are so many hours that go into my basketball career. Like after practice, we have it from 4:30 to 6:30. I'll stay like either an hour or two after just to get up shots, just so my shot stays consistent. And then my trainer Jay Hill at ABC will go 10 to 12 if we have to, or we'll go 8 to 10 as late as we want just to get shots in so we're ready.
So take me through during basketball season, Bella Hines' day starts at what time in the morning?
Usually like 5:45, so I can get up and wake myself up for school.
All right, so that's already, I'm out. Right there, I'm out. That's too early. All right, so I'm out. Okay, so all right, what happens next?
And then I get ready for school, and then my dad, I can't drive, so my dad will drive me and my little sister to school.
Okay, all right. And then do you guys, now El Dorado, basketball class, is that in the morning or in the afternoon?
It's in the afternoon.
Okay, so morning's pretty normal academic stuff. But then, especially now with game days and stuff, so your school gets out at?
2:25.
All right. So you got a little bit of time to do some academic stuff, right?
So yeah, usually right after school, we'll stay, me and a few of my teammates will stay, do our homework, and then by the time we're done with our homework, it's 3, so we'll go into the aux gym and just shoot until practice starts.
So if you had to guess, well, I guess you don't have to guess because those shooting machines have numbers on the sides, so you don't have to guess. What's an average day? How many shots are going up?
Like 500 to 600 shots a day.
That's quite a lot. And what's the highest make number that's ever been on the machine?
Well, usually I think the highest I've ever shot is like 85%.
Okay.
So
that's pretty
good.
That's pretty impressive, right? And then there's by the way, then there's the game, and then because I don't think people realize how much goes into the day, right? Because then there's the game. So I mean, okay, varsity games start at 7:30 now, thanks to our 8th grade friends, right? And so you're probably getting there around what, you're at the auction before, you start hanging out, at 6, blah, blah. And then sometimes there's homework after, right? And then I have heard that some of you guys stay after a bad game and get more shots up. So talk about that.
I don't know. I just feel like I love living in the gym just because, like, I want to prove to myself that I can be great. And I feel like if I'm not in the gym as much as I am, like, I'm not going to get there. And I don't want to shoot myself short.
And what does that be great? What does that look like to you?
Just reach the goals that I have for myself and just accomplish them and not have to have any regrets of what I did.
Okay. Want to take a break here with Bella. We'll be back. We'll talk about the schools already interested and top 5 lists when we get back with Bella Hines.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of Proview Networks.
Back with Eldorado's Bella Hines. We were talking before the break a little bit just about the day-to-day grind and the day-to-day routine, but you were talking about the greatness and the goal setting. Can we pry about what some of those, you told us about Gatorade already. What are some of those goals beyond high school?
I would definitely say to go to the college that I choose from. I don't know yet what college I want to go to yet. Just definitely keeping my options open, and then just being the best college athlete I could be, and then someday, if I can, go play professional somewhere. Okay.
Is there a dream school? Now this might show how dopey I am, but and please tell me if I'm being an idiot. But does every girl basketball player want to go to UConn?
When you first start playing, yes.
Okay.
When you first start playing, yes. But after a little bit of time, you kind of really focus on the academics and then what type of relationship you build with the coaches and the players that are already there, because that's the main vocal point of your school.
So do you have a dream school?
Not at the moment. It used to be UConn.
Okay, so I wasn't that far out.
It did used to be UConn.
That makes me feel better that you said that. Okay. All right, but you already have quite a few schools making the call, right? So ASU, CSU, Alabama, the 2 in-state schools, New Mexico State, BYU, Utah, Kansas State, San Fran, Delaware. Did I get them all? Wow, that's impressive. As a sophomore, that's I don't even think I knew where C&M was as a sophomore, to be honest with you, when I was going to high school. So what was that like when the first? Which one was the first?
UNM was.
Okay, good. The Lobos did something right. Okay, that's encouraging to hear. Okay, all right. So what was that like when you got the letter or the call, the text, whatever from them? That's the first. So take me. Where were you? Who was around you? Tell me through the whole experience.
So I was actually on the phone with the assistant coach, and I take all my phone calls in my room. No one's allowed to be in there while I'm taking my phone calls.
Oh wow, okay.
It's just my thing. No one's allowed in there.
All right.
So
Sorry that I asked. All right, okay, so take me through that.
So I was on the phone with Coach Simone before she had left.
Cone of silence right here, so you tell me everything.
Coach
all right?
Simone was here before she had left. And we were on the phone, and she had told me that Coach Bradbury wanted to talk to me. And we had talked to him for like a good 20 minutes or so. And then before he hung up, he said, Bella, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to offer you a full ride scholarship to the University of New Mexico. And for my first offer, I definitely did cry. I shed a few tears. And then
There's nothing wrong with that. That's exciting.
As soon as we hung up, I sprinted into the kitchen and told my parents, and then all the waterworks started happening. Everyone started crying.
So, Lobo fan growing up? Were you?
Yeah.
Okay. And, I mean, probably even more now, right? So we got a lot of local girls on that team.
Yeah.
What's that? I mean, so how does your style fit that playing style? I mean, I think it's pretty... I think the fit is pretty natural, right? But
yeah,
just
the fit
talk about
there,
that a little.
The fit there is natural for sure. Like just the way I play compared to Jalen Bates, we play a little bit similar to each other, and she fits in really well over there. So I feel like if I were to go there, I would fit in.
Okay. Obviously, one that stands out to me is ASU because Coach Sanchez and I are pretty close, Yvonne, and obviously Yvonne worked there for a little bit and Conference of Champions, so that's always exciting. What was that like when the ASU? Was that a call also?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So that was kind of like the same thing. We were on the phone. We kept in contact for a few weeks. And then once Yvonne had left and she's just not a coach anymore, we could actually finally have conversations about my colleges and stuff. So she had called me and she said, we need you to call ASU tonight. And I was like, okay. So we had called and they were talking about their program and what they have to offer. And then they eventually offered me over the phone. And
so you're able to use Coach Sanchez as a resource now. That's got to be pretty cool because how awesome is Coach Sanchez? Let's be honest.
She's phenomenal.
I think she's one of the nicest people I've ever met. So is that someone you can lean on during this whole process, you think?
Yeah, definitely. If I need help, figuring out what school or just seeing what a school has to offer, she's the first person I'll call to figure that out.
What's going to go into this process? I mean, because you're only a sophomore, so I can imagine this list is going to keep growing. And when you get home from school, do you run to the mailbox? I would run to the mailbox if I was Bella Hines.
My parents usually just throw all the letters on my bed, so I'll open them when I get home. And then a lot of them are questionnaires and stuff that we always send back.
Right.
So, but yeah, they're super cool to see what colleges contact me.
Is there do you have separate piles at home?
I do actually.
All right, tell me about how you're categorizing.
I have a whole drawer. So I have Michigan sends me tons of letters.
Okay, all right.
And then I have NC State, so I'll have all my white, yellow, blue.
Okay.
And then green letters all together.
Okay, but do you have your I'm talking about how do you know what I'm asking you?
I
know exactly what I'm asking. Do you have your okay, this is definitely potential. Here's a fallback school list. Here's oh my God, if everything doesn't go to plan, here's the disaster pile. How do you have them?
So far in my oh my God.
How many piles do you have?
3.
Okay.
So far in my oh my God pile, there's NC State and Michigan.
Okay.
Because Michigan I've always liked, and then it's runs in my family. My mom loves Michigan.
Okay.
And then NC State is just a super good school.
Okay.
And then I have all my middle piles, all my offers that I already have, and offers I'll keep. And then on the other side, I'll have just offers that or just letters that I'm oh not really too sure about your school, or I don't really have much insight on it.
So man, this process, I mean, it's got to be a lot. Talk about that.
Sometimes it gets stressful just because they're not able to contact me through everything. So I have coaches and my parents constantly telling me you have to call this coach at this time. So it gets stressful at times, but I just like to take it all in. It's a super cool experience.
I can remember during the height of JB's recruiting. I can remember both JB White and Coach Cole, his coach there at Santa Fe, saying, "Man, it's getting kind of crazy around here when we have a coach in every other day from a Division I school, and we pull, hey JB, can you come to coach's office because so and so's here from so and so." That's all going to happen, right? So that's a lot to process. But are you excited to see how this will continue?
Yeah, definitely. So far, I have Nebraska and Texas Tech coming to a few games soon, so I'm excited to see that, and then just definitely show out while they're there.
All right, professionally, now it's a little different than on the men's side, obviously, right? Because obviously the men's dream is always, I'm going to go to the NBA. Mm-hmm. On the women's side, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of money to be made in China on the women's side, right? And so what's the end goal there after college? Because I've heard that the money can be much more lucrative away from the WNBA.
So, I feel like it'd be super cool to play in the WNBA, but at the same time, money's a big thing too. So I just play wherever I get to play professional is where I'd get to play.
Right. So you haven't thought about it yet?
Not too much.
All right. Tell me, last thing now, since you're going to be picking from a hat full of D1 offers, as a kid, from your perspective, where does NIL come into play with all this?
I think it comes into a super big thing with this because, if you look at all the college players that are there now, like Paige Becker, she's getting paid millions and she's not playing professional. So I feel like NIL, those are a big factor in high school sports now, for sure.
And it's going to make a difference, right, in selection, obviously?
Definitely.
All right, we have a little bit of time left for our top 5 list. Top 5 things our audience does not know about Bella Hines.
Let's see. My favorite.
Number 5.
Okay, number 5. My favorite subject is English.
Okay, all right. Why?
It's just easy to me. I don't know. I just find the books sometimes read are just so interesting to me.
Okay,
So,
all right. So you like to read. All right. Number 4?
Number 4, I definitely have to say probably baking. Yeah, probably baking.
Okay, you're good at that, or we wouldn't know because you didn't bring us a plate of cookies or anything. But what is it about baking that we don't know?
Okay, baking's fun. Not saying I'm good at it.
Okay, all right.
But baking's fun to me. I just find it so interesting.
Okay,
it's just fun to me.
What's the coolest thing you've ever baked?
I tried to make this meringue, but
Didn't work. All right, you watched all the baking shows on the
Oh,
channels?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
100%.
Do you ever watch the kids competition? The kids baking is awesome because they're 11 and they're as good as baking as you are at basketball, and then they're making 4-layer wedding. Well, anyway, we're getting off on a tangent. All right, number 3, the third thing that our audience doesn't know about Bella Hines.
My Yeezy slides.
All right.
Love Yeezy slides.
You wear them everywhere?
Everywhere.
Religiously? They're super expensive, right?
So expensive.
Yeah, I've heard.
$320 probably.
Wow, okay, that's out of control. But everywhere, everywhere? Everywhere. How many do you have?
I have 2 pairs so far.
Okay, that's it?
Yeah.
All right, and what's the cleaning and maintenance on those?
Usually I just get a wipey for my tan ones. Just get a wipey, clean those off real quick. But my brown ones don't get dirty at all.
Okay, all right. Number 2, top 5 things we don't know about Bella Hines.
Ooh, making TikToks. That's got to be one of my favorite things to do.
Okay, what kind of TikToks are we talking here?
Dancing TikToks.
That seems to be the thing, right?
Oh, they're so fun.
So are we talking solo dancing or crazy stuff with all your friends, or what is the TikTok? What is that? What do you?
It just depends, to be honest. Sometimes I'll make some by myself.
Any basketball TikToks, or is it just goofy other stuff?
Usually just goofy other stuff.
Okay, because you got to get away from hoops at some point, right? The number 1 thing our audience doesn't know about Bella Hines.
Playing Fortnite.
Fortnite! Oh, wow. All right, okay.
But only with my little sister.
Okay.
Only with my little sister.
Fortnite, all right, okay. You left out your love of dancing movies, which that one intrigued me a lot too. Wow. Well, I'm so glad to finally have you in. Second in the nation in scoring. Keep it up. Keep up all the good work.
I will.
And,
thank you so much.
I guess hopefully UCLA calls soon, right?
Fingers crossed.
I'm a UCLA guy.
Fingers crossed.
Thank you for watching, everybody, and good night.